Hey people. Whew. As you can see, we are still here in this tropical paradise. Had a wonderful day this morning. Went snorkeling and saw a giant sea turtle. Something that I didn't even know. We were just swimming off the shore, like off the beach. It was kind of remarkable. So, we're doing okay. We're fine here on Maui. Everything is fine. And I guess I've had a thought kind of coming through that has been, it's kind of an unexpected one. It's one I was kind of it sort of popped up for me earlier today, and I almost didn't even notice what it was until I kind of thought about it a little bit. But basically, so in my own life and in my own practice of spirituality and meditation and this kind of core, spiritual practice in the sense of like a core life practice. In my experience of that, I've generally not really gravitated towards community that much. I have a pretty autonomous way of approaching that domain. To the point even where I used to kind of almost feel weird telling people that I meditated, or like there used to be this thing, like if I thought somebody was going to see me meditating, I would like get really self-conscious. And I mean, that might actually be something else going on, but all that is to say, there's a way in which this has always felt like it's a very private thing and very much something that I do kind of on my own. I mean, it doesn't mean I didn't talk to people about it and haven't enjoyed that, but the actual practice has always felt like I don't need a community to do it, and I don't really seek one. I don't really gravitate towards one. And I think, in some ways, to kind of follow that thread a little bit, in some ways that's because of the nature of what this path kind of is. There is a level on which the practice is all about complete self-actualization. You can't be relying on other people to support you through certain phases of the process, or through certain kind of decision moments, inflection points in the process. There's a real, I think, that's the way it works, is that you're called upon to actualize our autonomy and step into the truth. Step into, not the truth in a literal sense, but step into to our truth. And so, especially during intense phases of that, it feels like something you kind of do on your own. It feels like something that I have kind of done on my own and kind of continue to do on my own. And on some level, this is the thing that's changing. This is the thought that came up today. On some level, I haven't really sought other people to be on the journey with. Not because I didn't, resonate with certain other people who I felt really were kind of on the same journey as me, or a very similar one. But just because it wasn't, I wasn't inclined that way. It didn't pull me. But I have recently kind of had this sense that being connected to other people who are also engaged in this very autonomous practice is feeling more and more important, and I do feel an impulse towards that now. I do actually feel myself seeking, fellow travelers, as you might call them, on this journey, and it's an interesting kind of thing for me to recognize in myself and just notice, oh, okay, I'm at that point where that's becoming interesting, and that feels like it would support me at where I am. And yeah, so I'm kind of enjoying that sense of oh, okay, I feel like I'm opening to something, to a kind of new domain of this practice, a new aspect of it. I mean, the thing is, really, the practice is not going to change that much, whether you're in a community or not, or whether you have people around you who are doing it or not. The practice itself, the path is still the path. Every individual walks that path. And I think that's also maybe part of why, in my own experience, I've had an easy time without that, without seeking that. I haven't felt like I needed it. And of course, on some level, community around this type of practice can almost become like an inhibition. It can become there's a way in which, because it's so much of this process is analyzing our conditioning, understanding our values, understanding what draws us, understanding what makes us what makes us think the way we think. You get in a community of people, and it's really easy to start meshing with the people that you vibe with, not meshing with the people that you don't vibe with, and just kind of reinforcing our conditioning, when really what we're trying to do is see through our conditioning. So again, there's a level on which this always happens autonomously, but of course there's also a level on which a community and on which other people can be a wonderful reflection of what we are actually, if it's something like trying to see the way in which we're conditioned, see a pattern in ourselves, other people can be massively helpful to that. If they're on the same path and they're really kind of doing the same work, then they can give us such a wonderful sounding board for where we really are and what we're really doing, and I think they can help us orient that journey of continually seeing through and letting go of our conditioning. If the ultimate goal of this process, if it can even be said to have a goal, is to know ourselves beyond all conditioning, then people who are also doing that and who can see where we are getting stuck, that's huge. That's massive. And I think that's what I'm ready for, and I just noticed myself feeling an impulse towards that in a way that's new and exciting in a way. It's exciting to feel like I'm stepping into a part of this where I can invite other people in, and I know exactly what kinds of people not personality-wise, but there's a certain vibration that I think people will bring that I know I'm looking for and that I'm interested in engaging with. I already have several people in my life like this right now, some wonderful people, but I'm really embracing that and letting that feel like it's something that I'm building and something that's important to me. So yeah, spiritual community, who knew? Who knew that was important? Only everybody for the last thousands and thousands of years. But yeah, that's where I am today, people. Love you much. Appreciate you. Speaking of community and people who are a sounding board, I mean, you are literally that for me. So can't express my gratitude to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.